Right, YouTube, it's Wow Sly. Just pulled up the wrong box there. Wasn't really looking what I was doing. Done that. Not with it. Right. My new charge controller turned up. Well, I collected it from the post office today. Probably one of the very few people on this planet to order this thing on purpose. This is a... Well, let's... How can we say it? How can we say it nicely? This is... Didn't want to drop that. Oh well, we'll get it later. It's down the back of there. Right. We are organised and rolling. This is one of those eBay cheap Japanese, Chinese, Korean, Australian, Kosovan, whatever country it's from, WPM charge controller. They're listed and known as an MPPT charge controller, solar charge controller, and everyone on YouTube and forums will say they're not MPPT. I've opened it up. Yeah, definitely not MPPT, but I knew that when I bought it. I don't know how they get away with listing it as MPPT and sticking it on the front, but I've seen other companies do this before. They'll put something on there and say, no, that's the model number. I saw some batteries listed a while ago on eBay, years ago. They were listed as like 3,000 milliamp batteries, but they were only, if you zoomed on the picture, it said 300 milliamp. These 300 milliamp batteries are no good for anything. And when I emailed the company, I said, you've listed them as 3,000, but they actually say 300 milliamp. And he said, oh no, the 3,000 is actually a model number. So anyway, but yeah, I did deliberately buy this as a fake MPPT charge controller. For the functions, it's fully programmable. I'm just about to wire up to the battery. The instructions are great, as they are online. Online they look a bit blurry. And I wasn't too sure about the quality of the print. It was good, nice glossy paper. It's very, very sharp. My phone's not picking it up at all. Instructions are fantastic. There's not a lot there. There's only two sides of that bit of paper, but it's still in depth. It tells you everything you need to know. This charge controller is available, I think, in a 10, a 20 and a 40. Can't quite remember. But it shows you the power coming in, power going out, how many amps you've got, how many volts, how much percentage of the battery you charged. So it does it in percentages as well as volts. It you know, you can change it. Instead of cutting off at 14 volts when the battery's full, you can tell the battery, you can set the full voltage. So you can say 11 volts is full and it will stop charging at 11 volts. You can turn off the solar power input at, you know, if you've got, you can tell it not to let any more power in once the panel hits 20 volts, and once it drops to 7 volts, you can get it to turn off. You can get the charge controller to go into sleep mode when the sun comes down, so it's not actually using electricity running itself, and it will start automatically when the sunlight hits the panel. There's so many features. That's just some of them. So many features on it compared to other ones. So I bought it. I'm not recommending it. I'm certainly not recommending it. But I did, as I say, I did buy it. Oh, this is heavy to move with one hand. I did buy it, knowing it was a fake. There's my old one. I've literally got 3 lights for voltage. How much life's in the battery? You know, low, medium, high. Doesn't even say that. It's just 3 LEDs. So I'll have a look. Even when it's, you know, 12, 13 volts. I've only ever got 2. To get the third light lit up, I have to have the thing switched itself off because it's that charged. You know, I have to have 14 volts. But then as soon as the solar panel comes off, it drops down to 12, 13 volts where the battery levels out, and it drops down to 2 again. It's got a load. So it tells you you've got power available to use, and it tells you you've got power coming in, but it doesn't tell you how much you've got coming in or how much you got going out. It just says 2 out of 3 lights. So as you can see, I added the voltmeter so I can see how much power's in the bank. I've got another one there for the power coming in, but The panel's not plugged in at the moment, and it's pitch black outside. And if you've watched my previous videos, you'll see that I had the solar system on the wall, and I put it in the go box, and you know, there's the battery, the inverter. So I've got to remember this video is not actually about this this system, or I think, so we'll put that away. It's just a quick video to show you the charge controller. A lot of people slag them off because they are fake. I knew that. It's the functions I'm after. I want to be able to tell it not, you know, if I get 8 or 9 volts coming in, well, 3 or 4 volts, 3.6 I think I get when the sun's disappeared behind the buildings. I'm just going to tell it to shut off, and I can change the timer for the light. You can change the timer for the thing to switch itself on, the controller to switch itself on and off. I'm doing some really crappy camera work again. These are great. These are not like what I had before. On the old ones, you literally just push the wires in and then tighten up the screw. These are like the fuse box I bought the other day, where they're like U-shaped things, and when you adjust the screw, the whole plate moves up and down. So I'm looking forward to trying them out. It's quite a good, solid, heavy bit of kit. I opened it up, and I will open it up again quickly before I wire it up and show it working. Because despite half the insides being missing, because it's not MPPT, there's still quite a lot in there that looks good. Right, the back of it is metal. There's no heat sink, there's no grooves or lines in it, there's no holes in the plastic for air vents. The bigger one, it's got heat sink on it, and then the bigger one from that, it's got heat sink. The other version, the 40 amp I think it is, it's got a plug socket in the top of it, but that was a USB port, but that's sort of 3 times the price. A lot of people say these are cheap and crappy. It's not too bad. Not too bad. It's solid enough until you take the back of it off. But yeah, and also I think the maximum you can put in it is just over 10 amps. It's also listed at the top. If you use it as a 12 volt system, you can't use more than 130 watts going into it. And if you use it as a 24 volt system, you can't have more than 260 watts going in it. It's 12 and 24 volts automatic, like they all are. Right, we'll take that off now. We'll get the circuit board out and show you the guts. Right, next 4 lot of screws I took out. It's got a lovely smell to it though. If you're a bit of a geek like me and you can smell blown components, or you like the smell of packaging or petrol, you'll like the smell of these things. It's quite okay, anyway. And also the buttons, they're a nice click. I've seen people say it's all plasticky, but it is plastic, but they click quite well. They don't rattle too much. There's no flex in them, you know, movement before the click. They're a nice click. If I've got to pull this out without catching the thermometer plugs in there, well, the thing to tell the temperature plugs in there. There's the inside of it. We've got a secondary circuit board raised with the LCD screen permanently soldered into it, so it does look okay. But there's no big coil in there to cope with high voltages. There's 4 buttons on the top, the holes there for a USB port, so they also use the same circuit board for the next one up. You can actually see printed on the board, print go into those holes, and so I presume they're live. I might test them at one point and see if I can just solder something on there. It says 5 or 6 volts or something for charging of USB devices, so the wires are going to it on the board, the print. I presume that's live. We'll find out by people commenting or me blowing it up in a few weeks. Yeah, I mean, it's solid enough. What's rattling? Something's rattling. One thing is rattling, but I can't find out what it is. No. That's what it is. I loosened these earlier. Nothing rattles. The only thing that's rattling in is the screw there. I loosened the screw earlier, but nothing's rattling. It's got a nice, yeah. Right. Anyway, I'm boring. Let's get some power to it. Right. It's all wired up to a little battery that's flat, a little 12 volt battery. Again, I have no idea why people watch my videos or subscribe. I've just done a shake test and a smell test on a fake MPPT charge controller. Something seriously wrong with my channel. And anyway, a lot of videos I've seen on these, a few videos, people have said the screen, the display is blurry. I think it's just what you get. This screen is crystal clear. Probably can't see it, but that's not blurry at all. I've seen some videos in here where people with really good cameras, I mean this is my phone, have showed it and it's like double vision, and you know, it's very hard to work out. This is really clear. It's showing that the system's off, there's no power coming out. Push that. Yeah, can't turn it on because at the moment the battery's 56%. Is currently in the battery 10.7 volts, and it won't switch on till it hits 12.6 volts. The panel goes off when, there we go, the panel goes off when it hits 13.8 volts. Got no power coming in, and it's detected it's a 12 volt system. And the temperature is reading 0. So we'll plug this little thing in. I've got the light off at the moment on my phone just so we can see the screen. I'll plug that in there. There you go, straight away it's coming up instantly saying 12. The bottom left, 12 degrees. So it's 12 degrees out in the shack here. And yeah, all seems to be going well. That's also, if you hold that down, it resets it. Don't know how long you've got to hold it down for. So anyway, right, the shake test went well, the smell test went well, the thermometer's working, saying 13 degrees. We'll get the wires wrapped up. We'll get this on and compare what it says. Right, I can't do that and video at the same time, but that's coming up saying 12.4 volts. You've got to believe me on that. And this is saying 12.6 volts. I know it's saying 12 volts at the top, yeah, 'cause that's fluctuating 11.9 and 12. And that's saying 12.4 volts. Let me just double check it. Getting some of the worst camera work in the UK. I know, saying 12.1. I've got 12.1 on here, and this is saying 12 volts. So it's 0.1 volt out, which means, well, this uses, I think, 300 milliamps or something. I think they said, someone said once 300 milliamps. So it might be taken into consideration for that. But that's come up saying 12 volts on there. That says 12.1. I mean, this was only under a tenner, so it's probably not as accurate. Yeah, no complaints at all. It's now saying it's 14 degrees out here. I can't see my other one, so I actually don't know what the temperature is out here. And that's all we're going to show you today. That's all we can show you, really. It's a bit dark out here. But yeah, if you're wanting one of these, you see them on eBay. They're about the £20 mark upwards. They are fake. You might track down one that looks like this that is actually an MPPT charger. This particular one's fake. I knew it. They even showed a picture of the inside of it on the eBay listings. But everything is fully programmable. So you adjust the oh, that's the voltage on. You adjust the voltage on. That's the voltage off. Right, let's get back to it again. Right, so you adjust the voltage off with that, and you've got plus and minus. So my voltage off will be, so hard to do one-handed. Right, let's try that again. 12, 6, 5, 4. My voltage is going to go off at 11 volts. It's going to come back on when it gets to 12. Volts. That's enough to run lights. And then with solar panel 13.8, we'll leave that as it is. And what else can I adjust? Load on 24 hours or 0 hours, 24, 23. Leave that alone, we'll have that permanently on. So you can adjust the voltage coming in, voltage going out. Oh, that's working now, it's moving. Oh no, it stopped moving again. Oh yeah, I've got the voltage set for 12, so that's now changing up there, so my voltage, my load is coming on now. And I've adjusted the load. So yeah, that all seems to work. I'm not going to wire anything up tonight. I've got a million things to do in the house. This is sort of me videoing it as I'm going. I should have really plugged it in, turned it on, learned how to use it. But instead I opened it up, then turned it on, and then learned how all the buttons work. But it's great. It's going to go on the wall up there. Still got the rest of the stuff there to remove. There's the new fuse box. Not using the brake as I used last time. Done a video on this the other day. This is a bit of a beast. There's the new fuse box. That'll go on there with that. Right, not even going to bother turning the light back on. But that's the MPPT M10 they call it. There's the M20 and the M40. Just because it says MPPT doesn't mean anything. But it has got a cracking display on it. Right, before I go, trying to get a better shot of this. Below the load, it's got load in amps, so I think it tells you how much you draw in, which is fantastic. And I forgot to say, it tells you in amps how many amps you've got coming into. So it won't tell me the volts I've got coming in, which my other meter done. This will tell me the amps I've got coming in instead. Which I've heard that these aren't accurate for amps coming in at all. Apparently they don't register unless you've got so many amps coming in. But we'll find out. You also get a symbol there showing you that you've got power coming in. So if you get no amps reading, oops, I've just moved the wires. If you've got no amps reading on there, don't worry, you'll have a display up here showing power coming in. Really hard to video with the light without getting it bouncing back. That's also in Fahrenheit, 15 degrees Fahrenheit. My other thermometer says, I can't remember, I said 7 a minute ago I think, and that's Celsius. Oh, so that says 0C. Hang on a minute. This one says 7, and this one says 15. Yeah, so that's got to be Fahrenheit. Yeah, that's Fahrenheit. That's all there is really to it. The truth is in the pudding, or whatever the expression is. Once I get it all plumbed in, up and running, and power coming in, I'll do a full video on it. But at the moment, it's just testing it off a battery that's 54% charged. Oh yeah, the load on, I think you set that for when the sun goes off, so you can tell the charge controller to stay on for 24 hours after the sun goes down, or you can have the charge controller stay on for 4 hours when the sun comes down. So we'll see, it will shut itself off, so it won't use any power running itself after the sun's gone down. I'm just going to leave the damn thing switched on all the time. I'm going to use the new fuse box to turn everything off individually. But yeah, display on that is fantastic. Can't see